In this video, I'm going to go over a fantastic opening which is going to catch your opponents off guard and immediately help you get tons of rating points. And I'll go over 3 quick example games at over 1800 level so you guys can see exactly what these games look like in a real game. And let's just jump right into this. I'm going to start off with a little bit of background just to give you guys some footwork to help you out going forwards. So the opening which we're going to go over today is the English. So before you click away, all right, hear me out. You know, you may have some preconceived notions about the English, but I'm actually going to start off here with a little bit of explanation on the Sicilian Accelerated Dragon, because what we're really going to be doing is looking for a reverse Sicilian with an extra tempo. So this is the Accelerated Dragon here, and this is a super sharp and venomous opening with black, and we're going to be trying to play it with white up an extra tempo, which is going to make it just that much more lethal. So the main ideas in this opening are white usually first supports their knight. We attack the central pawn, they usually defend it, maybe we castle, they get ready to castle long, and we strike in the center immediately. That's the difference between the Accelerated Dragon and the Dragon, is we never play d6, so we save a tempo and push straight away for d5, and we open things up, and even if they decide to trade, we can trade this way. And as you can see, if you get to this position, you're already about +2, almost 1.6. So that was basically the opening segment, and so we're going to be trying to play this with white now. So let me reset my position. So we're going to be playing c4 first. Now your opponent has 3 main responses, maybe 4. If they play d5, then you just take straight away, and it's some sort of improved Scandinavian because you still have your central pawns. You can kick out this knight later, no problems there. If they play c5, I'll make a separate video. This can get more positional, a little bit more of a drawn out game, but most of your opponents aren't going to play this. They're going to play e5, taking over the center, and now we have our reverse sort of dragon setup. Like this, sorry. Something like this. Alright, and we're going to go from here, playing a reverse Sicilian up a tempo. So let's jump into the game so we can see how these are going to play out. First game, we have 85% accuracy, 2200 rating. I was 1830 at this game. So we open up with our English. Opponent playing more passively, but you know, these can transpose into a different opening. So we're still going to do our same thing. And my opponent really trying to play against my grip on d5, which that's okay. I mean, we are exerting good pressure on that square, and we can worry about it later. If they strike, you know, things are going to open up, and we'll be okay. So this setup makes some sense, and the fact that we are sort of playing for the d5 square in a way, but still equal here. And opponent strikes. We're obviously trading this off. It's great if we can trade our c-pawn for a central pawn, but they've also supported with their c-pawn. So, and then I just push d5 myself here to prevent them from pushing d5. So we didn't quite achieve our goal of getting an Accelerated Dragon. We have a similar setup. My opponent has sort of a weaker e-pawn, and it's important to be able to adapt. So I saw here that playing d4 was a really good move here. Yeah, I was just using the black pieces. I think I was saying d5, playing d4. And so we have good development for our bishop and our minor pieces. So we bring our bishop out, and we just go for a solid pawn structure. Now here I didn't want them damaging my pawn structure, so I decided to take and then go for my development here. And I didn't want to obstruct this bishop because I figured at some point we may break open the center. Castle, and now I'm just getting my heavy pieces into the game. So it says e4 here straight away was best, but I think there's nothing wrong with taking a little extra time and just getting your heavy pieces into the action. So they're aiming here, and I would have no problem taking that. And now it's going to be harder to play e4, so I decided to go for a queenside expansion here, which we get. Now things are boxed up, but we have this nice outpost here. So wasn't really sure where to go here. Things are blocked up, so I just decide to just make small improving moves. Get my rooks up here. Not the best move. We probably should do something a little bit more active, but it's perfectly fine. Trade that off. Swing our queen over to the queen side. I included this move because when I bring my knight out, I didn't want to basically... So when my opponent went here, it's clear that they're going to be doubling rooks to attack down here. So I wanted to jump in this way, and although if they kick out my knight, it's not trapped, and the real reason is we want to protect our f-pawn with our rooks. But I figured I would include this move to sort of secure my knight, so now they have to waste 2 moves to kick it out, and even at that, it's kind of weak. And I decide to double my rooks into this outpost here. So they try getting further into my position, but kick them out with the bishop. Now our bishop's at a more active square. Double my rooks. And I decide to crack things open and start getting more pressure on the queen side. They drop back, so I include this check. The reason that I wanted to trade these rooks is because if, say, I did something else or just moved my queen, if they ever went back, my rook is going to be tied down. Whereas if we trade one of them off, now they're not going to have enough firepower here. My king is doing a good enough job, so my rook is free to move here. And we're just slowly inching our way into their position. We infiltrate, and this pawn finally drops. And we're supported here, pick up the knight. And I could show this endgame. Actually, I think, yeah, it ends relatively quickly. Let's go for one more game here. Alright, hopefully this video isn't ending up too long, but we're going to go for another one. 80% accuracy, 2000 game rating. And you see my opponents are getting low game ratings, mainly because people are not familiar with this opening, which is really beneficial for you. So my opponent going for a kind of symmetrical plan, and they put their knight to a bit of a strange square. Actually, both of their knights. I'm not really sure what they were thinking here, but I just wanted to restrict their knight a little bit further. And now they put their queen to a very strange square. And I'm going here with my knights just to keep my bishop open. And I'm going to take over. Since they don't want to take over the center, I will. And we can keep pushing, kick out this queen, and just really have a huge presence in the center and on the queen side. Now they're trying to take over space on the king side, where could have gone b5 here, would have been strong. But I went e4, traded off towards their king side. Things are kind of opening up over here. Kick out their queen, pin their knight, and I'm just slowly improving my pieces. They shut out my knight, so I wanted to reroute to a better square. And now this was a blunder for b5 here. Let's see, why is this a blunder? I don't know. It's doesn't seem as strong as Stockfish is saying it is, but hey. And so I've pretty much got this outpost, forced them forward. Again, getting another outpost just like the last game in a way. And I knew once I could land my knight in here and get my rook here, it was going to be all over. I decided to take this way just to keep their bishop buried. And I just get all my pieces stacked along, supporting this outpost. Improve my queen. I didn't want to go for this check. I calculated here, you know, if they just block, that's kind of the end of the line. I didn't want to trade queens. I knew I had a strong initiative here. I mean, just look at their pieces over here. So I went for this instead, and they had to move their rook because they maybe wanted to block with the queen and their rook would have been hanging. So we go check, king moves, then we can infiltrate with our rook, and then we had a nice checkmate there. So final game, just so you guys can see what's going on. I don't have the game review for this game. I stopped paying for that a while ago. But you can see 1 great move, 27 best, 19 excellent, so pretty good game here. Let me get analysis at least. Alright, so we have our English. Again, opponent doing some sort of symmetrical King's Indian style play. And we kind of have the same setup. Now I know I went over some accelerated dragon. We haven't really gotten those in these games. Although I do have 1 or 2 games. Maybe I should have looked a little bit better. I just played these games yesterday, and they came out really well, so it is what it is. You know, you don't. The problem with opening prep is you rarely get the opening that you just prepared for. So this is reality. Yeah, actually, after I played this move, I thought it was a little bit weak. I didn't want to take here and bring their knight forward, so I thought, I don't know, I would sort of blow things open even more. But as soon as I played it, I was like, nah, this is kind of silly actually, just because they can just take, and I don't know, our pawns are getting weak, but it's fine. It took kind of the wrong way, I think. Oh yeah, and we lose this pawn here. But I said, alright, we lost a pawn. Let's use this extra open file for our rooks, and let's get some activity going. And actually, immediately, they drop this pawn here. Another benefit of having this bishop just absolutely raining down on the queen side. They can't trap my bishop. Well, first of all, I'm hitting their rook immediately. And now this pawn is getting a little weak if they ever move their bishop. So I add pressure, and then they got a bit of one-movitis attacking my queen, so we pin. They support, attack again. Rook a4 here. I think that's what happened in the game, so I don't know how this is bad for me, because this is exactly what happened in the game. Oh, I see. Knight takes. Oh, we're dropping our knight. Oh, wait. No, we're not. What is that? Oh, rook takes here. It seems like an equal trade. I'm not sure why this is... Not actually sure why this is so bad. I guess maybe they're infiltrating here or something. Oh, I just hung my queen. But I could probably trade and just go here. I guess our pawns are getting weak. I don't really know. Actually, can't really explain why we're down a point here, but... So that's not what happened in the game. Instead, they went for this trade, which led to us being up an exchange. And I had a little bit of trouble trying to trade these rooks off, but eventually their knight tried to infiltrate. I had to support and then prevent them from coming back to the square, take away these squares from the knight, and then finally we can win this pawn. And lost a pawn here, but honestly I'm just happy to simplify. And eventually we finally can escape these checks, trade off our pieces, and almost there, guys. This was a bit of a grind. We got that checkmate, so nice game there. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know. Definitely try out this opening, tell me how it goes. Hoping it can get you guys plenty of rating points. So drop down in the comments what you guys would like to see next. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one. Peace.